Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back and I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we have another knife offering from HX Outdoors. I'm very excited to share with you. Let's take a look and get this review started. So I came up here on the motorcycle today and I'm very happy to show you this HX Outdoors extra sharp survival bushcraft knife with fire starter. As you can see, it comes in a pretty plain box, and this knife is made out of premium 14C28N steel. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this video. This is a fixed blade knife. Now on the bottom of the package you can see some warning information, so feel free to pause your screen if you're interested in reading that or this information right here. Now this knife does have a sheath for outdoor use. You can use it for hiking, backpacking, camping, things like that. So as we open the box, the first thing that we see here is this little cloth, which I thought was a nice little addition to a knife. And it does have their logo on it, HX Outdoors. Very cool. I thought that that would be good for after sharpening the knife or something like that. You have a cloth to kind of keep the blade clean. And the next thing that we see in the package here is this little card. It says HX Outdoors, every man deserves an exceptional knife. Now as I get this video going, some of you are going to see this knife with a lot of similarities to a Mora knife. So there is that QR code if anybody wants to pause and scan that. And there is also some information for HX Outdoors. But I thought that this was a nice knife. When they asked if I would be interested in reviewing it, I said absolutely. Now they do have other models of knives that look very similar to this, and this one is a little more sturdy than the other one. So this one, the price point is around $27. However, they do have another one that looks very similar that is around $17. So the first thing that we're noticing here is a nice stainless steel blade. Again, there's that 14C28N steel. It does have the logo HX Outdoors on it, and as you can see, it does include a fire starter. So very cool. Nice little fire still. It does have a nice little lanyard that comes with it, and the sheath is a plastic sheath. It does have some drainage holes down there. Let's take a look and see what the retention is like on that sheath. It just kind of clips right into place. It's got good retention. No rattle. I like the sheath. And then on the bottom side here, you can see that there's a little knife sharpener. Again, those 4 holes there are drainage holes. This has a nice feel to it. It really does. It's got a nice feel to it. The rubber on the handle is very soft. I like it. Very, very good. The model of this knife is TD19. And right there you can see HX Outdoors. Very, very cool. This hardness of this steel is 58. Now the blade thickness is 2.4 millimeters. If you want to look at the overall length of the knife, it is 8.39 inches or 213 millimeters. Now the handle portion is 4.72 inches or 120 millimeters. And the blade is 3.85 inches or 98 millimeters. It does have a 65-degree point here. And the sheath, if we want to look at the sheath for a second, the overall length of the sheath is 8.46 inches or 215 millimeters. And as I showed, The retention is just absolutely fantastic on this sheath. I just like the way this feels in the hand. I like that drop point blade design. It feels comfortable. There's no rattle. And again, if we look at the ferro rod, it's very easy to deploy. Very nice. And to have all those features at this price point, I think is fantastic. You can use a knife like this for lots of things. You can use it around camp for cutting branches, or in my situation as a survivalist, maybe I would use it to make a figure 4 deadfall or to make a snare setups and things like that. I just love that you have the ability to sharpen your knife right here with this included sharpener that's right there on the holster. The fact that it comes with the magnesium fire starter is also fantastic. This is really nice if you're in a survival situation and you have to get fire. Maybe you need to cook the meat that you just caught, or maybe you need to purify the water, or maybe you just need a fire for warmth. I think that is really cool. You can also use a knife like this for cutting any kind of fruit or vegetables. Maybe you're trying to prepare a meal, something like that. I love that it's so easy to just put it all in one little place. You can carry this thing and put it on your pack or on your jeans, and you can just go on with your hike. I like the little jimping that they have right here to deploy the knife right there on the holster. It's very nice, on the sheath rather. Very nice. I like the way this thing feels. I like the way it looks. The balance seems pretty good on it. Now they do advertise a very strong tip on this knife. In fact, they stuck it in a I think it was a vise or something, and they pulled the angle like this, and this thing can withstand about 23 degrees. That is just crazy. So 23 degrees, so it's going to have pretty good tip strength, unlike some of the other knives that I've reviewed on this channel. I've had knives where the tip has just broke and things like that, but this one, they are very clear about it, saying that it's going to have a pretty strong tip. Now, when they heat treated this blade, and they had a balance of hardness and toughness, they wanted good edge retention and good corrosion resistance. When I look at this knife, I love the sharp 90-degree spine that this blade has. That is wonderful. Now, we just got some rain over here where I'm at, and I have a small piece of wood here that I'd like to process down and see if I can get a fire going. Now, I know that there's probably somebody out there that is watching me right now thinking that I am being too hard on a knife right out the box. But if it can't baton, I don't need to have it in my survival kit. So the first baton, as you could see, did very well. So let's go ahead and give that another shot. See if we can baton through this material. The center of the wood is the driest portion of the wood, so that's why I feel batoning is an important task for any survival related knife. If you're going to be putting the stamp of survival on a knife, not only does it need to be a sharp knife, but it has to have the blade strength, the durability to be able to process through simple materials such as batoning, because you might not be carrying an axe with you at the time that you go out. So like in my case today, I'm just out riding my motorcycle, and I thought that it would be a good idea to process some material down and see if we can get a fire going. So let's take a look at that initial sharpness. Look at that. That's pretty nice. The initial sharpness of this knife is pretty good. So now I can take some of them little feathers that I made, and hopefully that'll get me going. I am using a juniper wood right now. This is a hardwood, so it's a little bit difficult to process, but not too bad. The initial sharpness of the blade is very good though. As you can see, we have lots of big chunks and stuff coming off. So this is a nice sharp knife. It's doing a fantastic job on this hardwood. And after that initial little bit of batoning, the blade is holding up very well. Nice knife. So when I was up here the other day, I processed this piece down with the chainsaw, and I noticed there is some fat wood in here. So I want to try to baton a piece off of here so that I can try to get some of that fat wood and use that to help me make my fire. So let's just go ahead and see if we can't get a little piece off of here. Look at that. It went right through it. And this stuff should help me really get my fire going. Oh, it smells amazing. We're just going to use the spine of the knife here to process some of this down. If we didn't have that sharp spine, this task right here would be difficult. But because we have that nice spine, look at that, we're able to collect a little bit of material quickly. And that's the material that we would like to run our spark against. You can also do some little fine push cuts and get little chunks of fat wood. This stuff is just full of resin and oils, and this is excellent for fire starting. You could even stick the knife in and draw against it. I'm drawing against the spine. Look at all that fat wood that I was able to process very easily, very quickly. That should take a spark well with the ferro rod. I chose to put it right here on the rock. I think that would be a good safe place. It's one of the driest things that we have up here right now at the moment. So let me go ahead and grab this ferro rod, get in position, and see if we can't get a little tiny fire going right here. We got to get that coating off. Look at that, it's already lit. So now if I take some of the smaller stuff behind me and get my fire lay put together, I should be able to get this fire going. Look at how easy that was to make that fire. That knife worked good, the ferro rod worked good, and then of course once you're finished, it's probably a good idea to put it back in the sheath. And all this material coming up here right now on this trip, this stuff's all wet, so to get this fire to go as easily as I showed today in this video, that's a pretty good task. So it really shows that the knife is capable of doing it. And as you saw, it did it with one strike. So folks, if this was a survival situation, this knife would have just saved our life. And there you can see we have a beautiful little fire here. And that is such an amazing ability to make a fire with a knife. So now that I'm finished with my fire, I can take this nice sheath and connect it to my pants. I'm riding my motorcycle today, so I'm wearing motorcycle riding pants. But as you can see, it holds the knife right there just fine, no problem. And not only do I have a wonderful knife, but I have a nice fire here. I'm able to stay warm, cook my meals, purify my water, whatever I need to do. Okay, let's go ahead and cut some of these up and see how we do with cutting some potatoes. And there you can see that in a short amount of time we were able to cut plenty of potatoes. Well folks, my final thoughts on this knife offering from HX Outdoors are good. I love it when a company can put out a budget knife that is a performer. This is not a cheap knife, even though the price point is low. It has a lot of features that I really like. I love the drainage hole on the sheath. I love the fact that the sheath has a knife sharpener integrated. I love the fact that the retention of the sheath is good. There's no rattle sounds, absolutely none. I love the fact that the knife has a sharp 90-degree spine right out of the box. You don't have to go do anything to make that spine able to scrape things like I showed on this fat wood in this video today. I love the drop point design. I love the high grind on the blade. I love the handle. It's fantastic. It feels good to the touch. Your hand does not slip. The initial sharpness of this knife was very sharp out the box. It has a strong feeling blade to it. I love the fact that it comes with the ferro rod integrated in it, in the handle. It's just awesome. The lanyard that it comes with, the sheath is fantastic. The ferro rod, I was able to very easily make a fire. It only took a couple scrapes of the ferro rod, and the first couple scrapes was to remove the coating off the ferro rod. So really the ferro rod is quality. Not only is the ferro rod good, but look at this piece of hardwood juniper fat wood that I was able to baton through. This is not a cheap knife. This is a good knife. It did a good job on this baton. It did a good job making the fire. I was able to purify water. I think that a survival knife has certain criteria, and this one seems to meet a lot of them. So if you guys are interested in this knife, I'll put a link in the description box down below. Thank you to HX Outdoors for sending this knife out for review. It gives a big thumbs up from me. They do have other models that have the fire steel that are cheaper price point as well. So I'd like to get my hands on one of those cheaper ones and test it. This one passed with flying colors. I think it's a fantastic knife. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Hope you guys have a beautiful day. We'll see you on the next one. And until then, the link is in the description box. Bye for now, everybody.